We have a new era of Chicago Bulls basketball. What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Bulls Report. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, first off, I want to give you guys my full reaction to the Zach LaVine trade that went down late last night, a part of a three-team deal that sent De'Aaron Fox to San Antonio Spurs and Zach LaVine to the Sacramento Kings. And then also, the trade rumors are hot right now around the Chicago Bulls. More moves will most likely be coming for this roster, and it could look completely different after the NBA trade deadline on Thursday. But before we dive into it, first off, I want to say thank you guys so much to all of the real ones who have hit that subscribe button over the past week. We picked up almost around 350 subs last week, and we're closing in on 11,000 subscribers. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, lock us in. It is going to be a busy week. We will have breaking news around the Chicago Bulls, I guarantee you, this week. So hit that subscribe button, lock us in, and do not miss anything around your Chicago Bulls. All right, let's dive into the three-team trade that went down last night. And this was, a bit of a shocker that Zach LaVine ended up getting traded to the Sacramento Kings. We heard the Golden State Warriors, Los Angeles Lakers, even a team like the Milwaukee Bucks heavily involved in a Zach LaVine trade. Didn't really hear a lot around the Sacramento Kings, but this was the deal where the Spurs were acquiring De'Aaron Fox, Jordan McLaughlin. First off, a steal for the Spurs. If I had to give the big winner out of all three of these teams, it has to be San Antonio. But the Kings get Zach LaVine, 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. And then the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter, and they do get their rights back to next year's first-round pick that was top 10 protected by the San Antonio Spurs. So I see a lot of different takes out there. Why do people love this? Why do people not like this? I'm in the camp that this was a good move for the Chicago Bulls. And the number one reason here, no more purgatory. You finally have a sense of direction here in Chicago for the first time in 4 seasons where, clearly the Bulls weren't good enough to compete for championships, but also weren't bad enough to land a top 5 pick in the draft. Well, clearly some self-awareness has been shown in this front office. Now they have, a very, clear sense of direction of where they want to go. And also what I think is so key is you regain control of your first-round pick. Now, everybody was saying, oh, it's not that big of a deal that we got the protections off this San Antonio Spurs pick. Well, also, if the Bulls, let's just say they did land the Spurs pick this upcoming season, we're in the top 10, it would have just been top 8 protected the next season. So having full control of your next 7 first-round picks for the Bulls is key. And then it'll also get more minutes for the young guys. Modest Buzelis, Julian Phillips, Dalen Terry, even a guy like Patrick Williams. When you remove Zach LaVine from that lineup, their usage rate, their minutes per game, their touches per game, it will all go up. And then the last part here. LaVine is a tease because I saw Kevin O'Connor, good NBA insider. He knows what he's talking about when it comes to NBA, but he was shocked that the Bulls not able to get more from this trade. LaVine is the definition of a good stats on a bad team guy. The highlights, the stats, they all look good, but this guy is a black hole with the basketball. He is a Cohen on defense, and truly, in my opinion, one of the most overrated players in the NBA. He looks good. When you throw on the highlights, you see him. He's an elite scorer at all 3 levels, but still, I just think LaVine is one of the biggest teases in the NBA, so I thought it was a good move for the Bulls to move off them. But the Bulls did get Trey Jones in this deal. Now, Evan Cedery did report that Trey Jones could be rerouted from the Bulls in a separate trade soon. This was aggregated from Casey Johnson. If you guys don't know, Casey Johnson, one of the most tapped-in beat reporters for the Chicago Bulls, and he also follows that up. Chicago looks to continue adding assets off the Zach LaVine trade. So let's talk about Trey Jones here for a little bit. Wasn't coming off this season a great year for the San Antonio Spurs, but he is a very, very solid point guard. I think it'd be a good 6-man off a very good team's bench. I mean, the 2 seasons before this past year, averaging double-digit points per game, averaging just over 6 assists per game, very efficient from the field, has never been a great three-point shooter in the NBA, but he is definitely a ball control point guard. He can get his teammates open shots, easy looks. I would like Trey Jones to remain on the Bulls, but if you could somehow swing more draft capital or another young prospect, and Trey Jones is kind of the icing on that cake of the deal, I would be cool with the Bulls moving off him. And plus with the, Kobe White, Ayo, Josh Giddey. I just don't really see where Trey Jones would get consistent minutes in this rotation. But the other 2 guys the Bulls are getting in this trade, Zach Collins from the San Antonio Spurs and Kevin Huerter from the Sacramento Kings. Now, I think if the Bulls do move off Nikola Vucevic, I think Zach Collins and Jalen Smith will be your center rotation for the season. I'm cool with that. Obviously, not the most talented center rotation in the NBA, but still, they'll get you quality minutes at that 5 spot. And then I actually do like the pickup of Kevin Huerter, even though he's not shooting too well from beyond the arc. mark this current season. He is a very good three-point shooter, and I think having those play finishers around Giddey, Kobe, and Ayo will really help their development. Even a guy like Modest Buzelis and Patrick Williams just create open driving lanes for those two guys. I think Kevin Huerter will do that. But, I think after this trade, our attention shifts to the NBA draft, man. And, right now, ESPN's latest mock draft, these are the top 5 guys they had. Actually, all 5 of these guys are playing college basketball this season. Pretty interesting there because we've seen past years a lot of these international guys. But it's Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, son of Ron Harper, Ace Bailey, VJ Edgecombe, and Jeremiah Fears. Now, if I had to pick, my top 2 guys from this list, it is no doubt Cooper Flagg, and then it's also Ace Bailey. Ace Bailey is one of my favorite prospects this season, so look out for these 2 guys potentially being in Bulls uniforms if the draft lottery luck heads our way to Chicago. But I was getting a lot of comments on my instant reaction to this trade last night. Oh, I bet you're happy about the Zach LaVine trade. I bet you're fired up that LaVine is no longer a Bull. And to all the viewers who are commenting that, you are 100% right. I am very happy Zach LaVine is off this basketball team. Nothing against him. He is no doubt a very talented basketball player, but he just didn't fit the Bulls timeline. And, he is a good enough player where the Bulls would continue to win games, float around, 5 games under 500, and you could have potentially lost out on your first-round pick if you did not make this deal. So, yeah, I am very happy that LaVine is off this basketball team, but let me know you guys' thoughts. How do you feel about the Zach LaVine trade? Almost 24 hours have passed here, so you guys let me know your thoughts. How do you feel about the Zach LaVine trade a day later? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. Now, we'll talk about some more moves that could be coming for the Chicago Bulls because the trade rumors are hot coming out of Chicago. But before we do so, I want to give a massive shout out to today's presenting sponsor, and that is PrizePicks. Now, if you guys download the PrizePicks app today and plug in that promo code CLNS, you guys will get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Download the PrizePicks app today. Use that promo code CLNS. Get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Now, what is PrizePicks? PrizePicks is the best place to get real money sports action. With over 10 million members and billions of dollars in awarded winnings, PrizePicks has made daily fantasy sports accessible to all. You just pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Run your game all season long on PrizePicks. And now with the big game coming up this Sunday between the Eagles and the Chiefs, they got a free pick for you guys. Where only one Patrick Mahomes passing yard will get you 1 win on PrizePicks for the big game between the Chiefs and the Eagles. So when you guys are creating your lineups, make sure you guys include this and download the PrizePicks app today. Plug in that promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. One last reminder, download the PrizePicks app today, plug in promo code CLNS, get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. A massive shout out to PrizePicks for sponsoring today's show. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, more trade rumors coming out of Chicago here. So Evan Sittery aggregating what K.C. Johnson had to say on his podcast yet again, saying the Bulls are shopping Torrey Craig and Chris Duarte. If Chicago can't find trades for either player, they will likely be waived as they must clear 2 roster spots soon after the Zach LaVine trade. Obviously, with them bringing in Trey Jones, Zach Collins, and Kevin Huerter, you got to open up 2 roster spots for those 2 guys. So it's looking like the Bulls are going to shop Torrey Craig and Chris Duarte, but also Nikola Vucevic. He could be on the move here. As Evan also said, the Bulls now own their 2025 first-round pick without any worry of losing it due to the previous top 10 protections. Chicago is actively shopping Nikola Vucevic and Lonzo Ball ahead of the trade deadline to continue their hopes of bottoming out for a top 10 pick, So where can Nikola Vucevic go? Well, I think the number 1 team, especially after that blockbuster Luka Doncic trade where they got rid of Anthony Davis. I mean, the Lakers are going to make a move for a center, whether that's Miles Turner, Nick Claxton, the Lakers will be calling. Also, the Golden State Warriors, they have been heavily linked to Nikola Vucevic. I think these 2 are my top 2 predictions on where Vooch could go. But you also got the Spurs. Maybe they think Wemby, Vooch, De'Aaron Fox, a solid core of 3 players that could, potentially get them into the second round of the Western Conference playoffs. But also watch out for the Pelicans. They're heavily interested in Vooch this offseason. And then also the Indiana Pacers. So I saw this trade idea floated out there on Twitter. It's a 3-team trade, and it is a doozy. This might be a little tough for you guys to see if you guys are on mobile. So let me just shout this out here real quick. So in this deal, the Lakers are getting Miles Turner and Aaron Nesmith. And the Pacers are receiving Gabe Vincent, Dalton Knecht, and Nikola Vucevic. And then the Bulls in this deal are getting Rui Hachimura and Bennedict Mathurin. I would love this trade for Chicago, mainly because of the main piece you're getting, Bennedict Mathurin. he is an elite guard. I think he's got all types of potential in the league. I think he could truly be an all-star eventually in his career. And this guy is only 22 years old, putting up 16.4 points per game, 1.9 assists, 5.9 rebounds, and shooting pretty efficient from the deck and from beyond the arc. But his shot chart, what I love about Bennedict, he's an elite left corner shooter, shooting 54% from the left corner this season. He's pretty solid at getting to the bucket. From the left block, 67%, right near the rim, 58%, and from the right block, 55% as well. And then also above the break, 45% from the right wing, 32% from the top of the key, and then the left wing, he shoots 22%. But, with all the conversation of where do the Bulls go next year, I think it becomes clear that the Bulls need to draft well over the next 3 seasons. Like, we won't fully kind of know how good of a decision this was for the Bulls front office to move off Zach LaVine and most likely Nikola Vucevic until the Bulls over the next 3 years, if they draft well or if they don't. Like, let's just say they get the 5th pick this upcoming year in the NBA draft. They're going to need to hit on that pick. They're going to need to do some intense scouting. Hopefully they can land a true blue chipper and a true foundational piece for this roster, because I still think you got Modest, Kobe White, Ayo, Josh Giddey. You got a bunch of young players who have a chance to develop into some really good players in the NBA, but it's going to come down to the draft. Can you get that blue chipper? Can you get that Cooper Flagg, Ace Bailey? Because I think both those guys could really change the direction of a franchise. So hopefully the Bulls, you're going to have to get lucky in the lottery, but, in the end, I think this is a good move here. But if you guys made it to the end of today's show, just give me a C red down below in the comments section. One quick note here on Alonzo Ball trade. I would not want the Bulls to move off Lonzo unless you guarantee yourself of getting a first-round pick for him. I don't care if it's heavily lottery protected. I just don't know if I would be cool with the Bulls moving off Lonzo for, let's just say, 1 or 2 second-round picks. That's just my quick thoughts on, the Bulls potentially trading Lonzo. But, guys, if you guys made it to the end, give me a C red down below. See you guys next time. As always, go Bulls.